All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to thank everybody for stopping by today. I appreciate everything. I'm just going to kind of warn you, I'm a little new at this Facebook Live, but I appreciate you stopping by. I'm Tara Carpenter. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from mid-Missouri. I live in a small town just north of Columbia. Hey, good morning, Mary. How are you? I've got my contact information here. I go under Tara Beth Stamps, and today I'm going to do a card from the Perfectly Plaid collection. That's actually in the annual catalog. This is a carryover from last year's annual or Christmas catalog, and it's one of my all-time favorites, so I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and use that one. So that is on page 93 of your annual catalog, and I'm also going to use the Painted Christmas 12 by 12. Hopefully you guys are seeing this. Yeah, there we go. The 12 by 12 Painted Christmas in the mini catalog. So I made a little gift card It's a Z fold kind of on the side. So it starts out like this, and you pull it up, and there's your gift card. When you pull the gift card out, it's got a hidden greeting right there. So I did this with the Painted Christmas and the matching envelope, of course. And then I also did this in the hand pen collection with the, I can't remember the name of that stamp, and I don't see it. The Sunshine one. Sorry, for kind of a thinking of you, when people are sick and you want to, they're running back and forth to the hospital, sometimes it's nice to send a little gift card to somewhere where they can treat themselves. So there's the two cards I did today. So let's get to it. All right, I started out with a 5.5 by 4 1/4 card base, and it's just a single, it's not folded or anything, so it's just the mat itself. And I am matting it with Pear Pizzazz, and that one is cut at 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So I'm just going to adhere this with the little liquid adhesive. And with the liquid adhesive, just remember that less is more. One of the problems that I had early on was I would get warping, and it was a mess, and part of that was because I was using too much. So less is more there. So just kind of burnish that down. Then I've got a piece of DSP that's cut at 4 5 1/4. I'm going to adhere that with a little bit of liquid adhesive as well. Sorry if my voice is a little yucky. We've got ragweed is really high here in mid-Missouri, and it's definitely hit me hard this week. All right, so there's that. Just making sure that you line it up as well as you can. All right, so the next part, this is a piece of DSP that's cut at 10.5 by 4 3/4. And I scored it at 3.5, and then I flipped it around and I scored it at 3.5 again. So what I'm going to do is I want this to be the top. So I kind of want to make sure that if your pattern looks like it might go in a certain direction, you want to make sure that you're folding it correctly. So this is just an accordion fold. And let me grab my bone folder just to make sure that those edges are nice and crisp. All right, so there's that. So basically, I think I flipped it. Well, I did exactly what I told you not to do. There we go. Here we go. All right, so I want it to go that direction so that when I pull it up, it can have plenty of spaces for extra sentiments, areas to write your little personal notes, however you want to do it. So on this one, I use Stampin' Seal, just because when you're pulling on those papers, you want to make sure that you've got something that's going to hold a little better. So I'm going to line that up to the best of my ability. Make sure that it's fairly straight and just burnish it on. All right, so next I have cut a couple of pieces of Very Vanilla. One's a little bit smaller. I die cut these with my stitch ring rectangle dies, And I'm going to glue that on right there. But before I do that, I'm going to do a little Stampin'. So I've got my Real Red. Thank you, Jean. I love these colors too. All right, so I've got my sentiment that I'm going to put on here with Real Red. And you can tell from the looks of these stamps, these have been well loved. All right, hopefully that's pretty straight. Yep, that's all right. Okay, so I put that up in the corner because I want to have plenty of room for my trees. And then I just have a piece of garden green here that I'm going to stamp, and I'm probably going to make 3 or 4 stamps just because you don't always punch it out clean, and you want it to look nice when you're sending it to someone. So there's one. And you can always just, I throw these in my stamp case when I have extras, or I have a little plastic tote that I keep extras in, just because you never know when you might need it. All right, so there we go. I'm going to close that ink up so I don't get it gross all over the place. And I've got my tree punch here. Oh, Washington State. What time is it there, Debbie? All right. Line it up. Punch. There's another one. All right, so there's my trees. Scoot this out of the way. All right, so as you can see, I don't love that one. That one kind of got gross. Hopefully we've got 2 more that'll work. Yeah, these are okay. So I'm going to add a little liquid adhesive to one of my trees and just place it right down there. And then the second one is going to go on with Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm kind of like some of the other girls. I do cut mine in half. I found I get a little more use out of them when I do that. All right. All right, I'm going to kind of cover up that tree trunk. That way they just look a little staggered. All right. There we go. Oh, my ribbon. All right, so for the ribbon, I went ahead, actually, I think I need to take this tree off. Yep. All right. Sorry about that. All right, for my ribbon, I went ahead and glued this down with some liquid adhesive. And then I added a glue dot. So how I make my ribbons and bows is I have to have glue dots to kind of keep them in place. So I'm just going to kind of stick one right there where I think it'll work. And what I have here is the Real Red sheer ribbon out of the mini catalog. All right, I'm going to wrap it around here. Kind of stick it there so I have a really good slot. Now let's see if I can tie this bow on camera. All right. Oop. That wants to twist and turn. All right. So that's got that glue dot stuck down. And that kind of helps keep the ribbon in place. All right. No, this is awful. Let's see if we can't do that again. Maybe try it this way. The thing about bows is you can tie them 400 ways. And half the time it works and half the time it doesn't. I think my glue dot's losing its sticky too. Well, you get the idea. Oh, there we go. Now it's going to work a little bit. All right, cut your ends off, and now add another dimensional, because the other one lost its sticky, and add that tree just under the ribbon. All right, we'll go ahead and embellish the front of it now. So I used several of these little gold basic metallic pearls that are available from Stampin' Up. The nice thing is you get quite a few of these and they last a long time, and they look really good as ornaments and decoration on your tree. So there's 5. That's not enough. I need more. Sometimes you have to just step away from the embellishment, Tara. That's enough. All right, there we go. So that's basically the front of the card. So now we're going to go on to the inside. So I have another stitch rectangle die that I'm going to take a small piece of DSP that's cut at 4 3/4 by 1 1/4. So that's way too big, but I can just snip it off here. All right. All right. So what I did for that is I took my Label Me Fancy punch, and I'm going to kind of even line it up halfway. And then you can see there's little notches right here on each side. That's what I'm going to use for my little kind of thumb holder to pull the gift card out. So see, it just gives it that little lift that you need. So for adhering this, I'm going to use my Terran tape, just because you want something that's going to be a little more straight. You need something that's fairly strong. And I put it on the DSP versus the backing. All right. So I use tear tape a lot for cards that need a little more when I don't have my Stampin' seal. All right. Here we go. I'm going to line that up. Put it on there. And then you can add a sentiment underneath. I didn't really think it gave it that much, so I'm going to leave that one out. I'm going to add this with a little Stampin' seal, because once again, people are going to be pulling and tugging on that gift card, so you want a little more sturdiness. All right. So there's that. So there's how the card goes. So, of course, it wouldn't be a card for our team if we didn't have a decorative envelope. So I'm going to take that tree stamp again on a very vanilla card or card envelope. And I'm going to stamp that there. Shut that ink before I get it all over myself. I'm going to take a little liquid adhesive and add it here to my envelope back. And I'll line it up. And I just line it up and make sure that it's to the edge. Burnish it down. And then cut out my envelope backing. So I'm going to have all of the measurements and directions on my blog at TaraBeth Stamps at blogspot.com this afternoon or tomorrow. So I hope you enjoyed the gift card, Z fold card I did today. And thanks so much for your patience. I appreciate it.